What's up everybody, my name is T-Grizz and you're watching T-Grizz Tuesday, and in today's video I'm going to talk about cell phones. And I made a list of the things that I want to get through, because I tried it without the list and I'm just getting sidetracked, thinking of stories to tell you, but I will have to do that at the end. But first I want to talk about, or I want to tell you guys why I want to talk about cell phones, and then you will hear the rest. So I want to talk about cell phones because today is Sunday and I sold my cell phone. I had a HTC Desire Z with the QWERTY, I don't know how you want to pronounce it, keyboard, and it's a very good phone. But I had it with a 2-year contract, and the 2 years are almost over, so I can get a new phone, and that new phone will be the HTC One X Plus. I believe the HTC One X has some lag problems, or at least that they told me that in the YouTube videos that I've watched. And yeah, I'm getting the One X Plus because it has 64 gigs of storage. It has a quad-core 1.7 something. I don't know the exact specs, but it has a good camera. It has a full HD display, so that's always good if I want to watch the HD movies, or I don't know, whatever. And the camera is quite good, so I can do some vlogs and filming with that stuff. And let me see what's more to that. Yeah, it has a pretty big battery life, so that's always a good thing, so I don't run out of battery in the middle of the day. But the HTC Desire Z, or Z is Dutch, Z is English of course. The HTC Desire Z was a pretty good phone. It had its flaws, but overall I think it was a pretty good phone. So what I wanted to talk about, I want to talk a little bit about back in the day, you know. And when I say back in the day, I mean 4 or 5, 6 years ago, when cell phones weren't that big yet, or maybe they were already, but I just didn't realize it. Well, when cell phones weren't that big, I know my parents had those old mobile phones that you could fit in your pocket, but you could buckle it to your belt. It's a Dutch word, I'm sorry. I mean belt. You could buckle it to your belt, and then, yeah, you know how those things looked. They were giant. And then when I got into high school, the cell phones, or the mobile phones, whatever you want to call it, they got more big, so you could use the reason that you were always available at all times if you had a cell phone, so your parents could check you out where you were, so they didn't have to worry. I know I used that argument to get myself a phone. But over the years I had some phones. Mainly the first phone I got was a Motorola, I believe, and I got that from my father after he was done with it. And from there on I got prettier and better phones, those slide phones, I don't know how you call them, the ones that slide up and then you have your keyboard thingy, your number pads under there, you know, those phones. And I remember when I was 12 or 11, nobody of my age had cell phones. And when I look now at an 11-year-old, 12-year-old, in a non-perverted way, if you know what I mean, they pretty much always have a cell phone. And I don't know why that is. Maybe it's just become a standard to have a mobile phone, or maybe it's just the way it is right now. I don't know what happened, but I know I had to ask my parents, or even nag to my parents about this stuff. And because I'm the oldest in the family, my little brothers get things easier. I had to always nag about stuff to get it, and then my brothers would get it as well, because otherwise it wasn't fair, of course. And I can understand that, but yeah, it's just, it feels, I know it's fair, but it kind of feels not fair, because the stuff that my brothers had at my age, I didn't have at their age. if you're still following me. But anyway, that's the difference between back then and now. And also one thing I remembered now is I went to Rotterdam. I don't know how to pronounce it properly in English, but it's a city in Holland. It's pretty much like Amsterdam, but then a little bit smaller, I believe. Well, that's not the point of this story. I went to a T-Mobile because my provider is T-Mobile, and there was something wrong with my phone. My speakers didn't work anymore, so I went to the T-Mobile store and asked the dude, or I said that my speakers weren't working, so I handed him my phone. And the first thing he said, "Have you tried turning it off and on again?" And then I was like, fuck, I totally forgot to do that. So the dude grabbed my phone and he unlocked the screen. But I had this really embarrassing background. And I had this one because it was fun with my friends and all. Because it was a cute panda bear with that would follow your fingers if you would touch the touchscreen. So it was really adorable. But that dude was just looking at me like, what the fuck, dude? Why is this your background? So I kind of laughed at him in a real dumb way from yeah, it's just a joke, but yeah, kind of that way. If you've been in this situation, you know exactly what I mean. But so he turned it off and turned it on, and then yeah, my speakers were fixed. I don't know what the problem was. So that was the story I thought of at the beginning of this commentary. And the last thing I want to address are my personal preferences in a phone. And I'm using the iPhone 4 right now. It's a pretty good phone, but it's not the phone that I like. I've been getting used to the HTC Android Sense operating system, and I like that a lot. Excuse me, because you can personalize almost everything on that thing, and it's really awesome. But with the iPhone, I don't get the feeling that you can personalize that much. So that's my personal preference goes out to the HTCs. I like the HTCs. They over the 2 years that I had my HTC Desire Z, it only filled one time, or it only broke one time, and it was really weird because the lower part of my touchscreen wouldn't work anymore. So I had to. Of course I was insured, or I had insurance over that phone. Maybe a little silly, but I was insured for that. So they fixed it for me and I got it back. And everything was fine. And now I'm getting the HTC One X Plus. And always, I don't know if I mentioned this at the beginning of the commentary. I believe I didn't. Maybe I did it at the last try. But anyway, I always do a lot of research before I get a new phone. So I always look at comparison videos like the HTC One X Plus versus the iPhone 5. And I'm also looking at reviews and unboxings. So when I get this phone, I know exactly what it's, has in store for me. And I know exactly how it will operate. I believe it has Jelly Bean. That's the 4.1 version of the HTC Sense Android thingy. I don't know exactly what it's called. It has a quad-core. Quad-core? Yes, I believe it's quad-core, 1.7 gigahertz. I don't know exactly the specs, so don't quote me on that. It has 64 gigabytes of storage, so that's always nice. I can put movies on there. Watch them in Full HD because it's 1280 by 720p, so Full HD. It's not the 1080p, but we'll have to make do with that. It has a 8 megapixel camera, and it records in 1080p with the back camera, and with the front-facing camera, it has a 720p recording thing. So that's pretty high standards. So I can record maybe some more vlogs for you. If you want to, of course, let me know in the comments below. And also one thing I would like to mention is that I'm not getting the iPhone 5 for primarily one reason. My little brother already has it, and one of my good friends already has it. And I don't think it's fun to have the same phone as your brother. So I feel like a copycat. And a friend of mine actually does have the HTC One X, but I'm getting the One X Plus, and there are some minor differences. but I will not drag you through that mumbo jumbo. I didn't know what else to call it. And that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. These were just some random things that I thought of when I was looking for another phone. So I think this has been pretty good. The last few tries that I did on this commentary, they didn't went that well, and as I'm going longer and longer with this commentary, the chances are bigger of me failing. Like right now, I feel a burp coming up. I have to hold it in really bad. Excuse me. So before I screw up, I want to thank you guys for watching. Leave a like and a favorite, and be sure to subscribe to stay up to date with my content. In the description are 2 links to my Facebook and my Twitter, so like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter. And that's the best way to get in contact with me if you want to talk, if you want to ask any questions. And also leave a comment down below with a question or a compliment. That's always appreciated. And I will pretty much always respond because my audience isn't that big right now. But shares via Facebook and Twitter are appreciated, so please do that. And other than that, I want to thank you guys for watching. Have a nice day, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.